Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Better Thyself. We often see that the people who are supposed to be, mark the word supposed. The people who are really thought that they are intelligent, people think that they are intelligent. And yet, more often than not, they are not successful in their life. And the people whom we think they are not as intelligent as the successful people are a blazing success. I have seen human beings think, ruminate, and often complain that so and so is more successful, but he is not intelligent as I happen to be, or you happen to be, or XYZ happens to be. Why is it? The reality is that the intelligence is important, but it's not as important as your attitude towards life. The people who are blessed with brains, with intelligence, should make others live in dust. But that never happens because their mindset is not attuned to success. If you study the performance of the people around the world, you would find that the people with a higher IQ, the people who are supposed to be much more intelligent, would not be intelligent when they come face to face with the real life situation. Why is it? Success does not depend on intelligence. An intelligent quotient of 180 does not guarantee that you will always be successful. Otherwise, this word would not be the place what it is. It depends on your mindset. There are two sorts of mindset. Every human being has a certain mindset. It can be a fixed mindset or it can be a growth mindset. And it is your mindset which enables you or prompts you or makes you either more successful or be a failure. With a fixed mindset, you believe who you are and you are not willing to change, or you cannot change. You have a fixed mindset and you cannot change. You are impervious to all change, and change is the law of nature. A person who thinks that he cannot change, or who should not change, or who is incapable of change, would not be able to adapt to the situations of life and the situations at work, which can change day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, second to second. So, these people, the fixed mindset, when they create problems, when they're faced with certain challenges that are beyond the ken of their mindset, they are capable enough to do it. It's not that they are not capable enough, but then they cannot accept the changed situation, the changed environment, or the changed circumstances. And when that happens, they feel overwhelmed, they feel hopeless, and then they collapse like a house of cards. On the other side, there are people with a growth mindset, and then they can believe that their mind, which controls their whole personality, is capable of improvement, not only change. Now mind it, it's not only change is important, but it's also the continuous growth that is important. Every change should enable you to grow a bit. And these people who are able to change and grow at the same time easily surpass and outperform those people with a fixed mindset, even when they have lower IQ. The people with a growth mindset are able to take up the challenges, and then they face the challenges as an opportunity to learn something new. Whenever you change, you have to face new challenges. And if you have a growth mindset, you take up those challenges with a different perspective. And that perspective enables your mind to attune it to the changed circumstances. And these coalesce to make you a better performer. I'm not saying more intelligent, but a better performer. I've seen with the people with an IQ of 170, 180, 200 simply be flops in life. And the people with ordinary IQ, 110, 120 perform. The classic example is that of the Indian former Prime Minister, Manmohan. Now, he was and is deemed to be one of the most intelligent people in India. And yet he was a failure because his mindset was a fixed mindset, and that was loyalty to the person who had appointed him. So being a prime minister by obligation made his mindset fixed like a rock, and he was unable to perceive things beyond that. His vision ended at the feet of the appointee lady. So a fixed mindset made an intelligent person an absolute flop. On the other side, Mrs. Gandhi was a person who was not as intelligent as Manmohan is, or not even as intelligent as Narasimha Rao is. But she had a growth mindset. She could accept any challenge. The late example, after she was defeated at the hustings at the polls, and the riots erupted in Delhi, while none of the ministers, not the then Prime Minister, the Home Minister, dared not go there for the simple reason there was no means of communication and no means of transport. It was a far-off place. Rains had been there, it was flooded. So you could not drive, you could not even walk. And this lady with a growth mindset sat on an elephant, waded through just deep waters, slush, and reached there and won those people's heart. So I'm giving you this example only to show you that how a growth mindset enables you to think of innovative ways. The ways are always there. The methods are always there. It is only a matter of application, whether you apply them or you do not apply them. And if you apply them, you are successful. If you do not apply them, you are not successful. Now, what happens is, success in life is not really success. It is your capability to deal with the failure. Let's be sure that ability, like being smart, inspires confidence. A growth mindset makes you aspire, and that aspiration inspires you, and that inspiration imparts you confidence, and that confidence makes you successful. Now, the people with a higher IQ find it very easy when the going is easy. But when the setbacks are there, when the challenges are there, it's the people with a growth mindset who welcome these challenges with open arms. While the people with a fixed mindset recoil. Recoiling again is not bad. But when you recoil to strike back like a snake does, like a cobra does, it's good. But when you recoil and become listless, spineless, then you are sounding the death knell of your success. So, how you succeed, it depends on how you deal with a failure. and how you deal with a failure depends on your mindset. So the approach of the people to the growth, to the progress, to the success is dependent on their ability to deal with a failure. And then, what do you call failure? I call failure a window to information and inspiration. People who call it failure a failure are wrong. But the person with a growth mindset would say, well, this did not work, but then I'm a problem solver. I'll find out something else to do, some other means to perform. And that capacity to perform something else would make the person successful. Regardless of which side you are, regardless of what your capability is, regardless of what your intelligent quotient is, until and unless you have a positive attitude, and by positive, I don't want to use the word positive because every Tom, Dick and Harry uses positive with negative. When you have an attitude to overcome, and when your negative attitude is capable of giving birth to a clear-cut action, that is whatever the result may be. When you take an action, then you are able to have a growth mindset. As a matter of fact, all of us read Bhagavad Gita, but we don't listen to the lessons in that. When Krishna told Arjuna to take up the arm, that was not to win, and quite possible they might have been defeated. But what Krishna was able to do was to instill in Arjuna a positive mindset, a mindset to the growth, a mindset to be successful. Similarly, when Duryodhana had lost the will to fight, Krishna exhorted him and he made him accept that even killing of the opponents and even telling a lie in the time of need when Achyutama was dead is something positive. These management lessons are there inherent in our epics, and yet we ignore them with a contempt they do not deserve. So, what really is required is your attitude. And your attitude is I have been talking about the growth mindset. There's another part. How you look. When you are there, do you look right up? Make an eye contact so that others can wither away? Or do you feel shy and drawn back? Do you have confidence in your steps? And does your each step and your each gesture betray that you are the master of the universe? Because showing the master of the universe is an indication of the growth mindset. And people always say that face is an index of mind. If you are perspiring, you are feeling clammy, you are dithering, you are slouching, that only shows that you do not have a growth mindset and you don't have confidence in yourself. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, what the hell is your right to be there, to aspire to be successful? You can be successful provided you inculcate in you, if you don't have, the mindset that is capable of taking up failures, the mindset that is growth oriented, the mindset that is not willing but welcoming challenges. Many times I have seen that the people try to avoid the challenges, and that's why they're not that successful. When you meet a challenge head on, that is a real growth set and growth mindset that will propel you to success like a rocket going on its mission. have a positive, growth oriented, and challenge taking mindset. And then if you have an IQ lower than that others have, don't care. IQ you cannot change. Your mindset you can. And if you want to be successful, you must. Thank you.